Hey everyone, I'm Tyler Boronski. I'm with Vinnie Pestano of the Bridgeport Bluefish, formerly of the Cleveland Indians and the Los Angeles Angels. Now, Vinnie, you're a guy, you kind of throw from a three-quarters delivery. Have you ever thrown over the top or sidearm before, ever tried it, and just you felt like the three-quarters delivery was more comfortable for you? And just how do you think that delivery helps with maybe being effective out there on the mound?
I have tried some sidearm in college. I threw sidearm for a couple years, and then a couple years in the minor leagues before eventually kind of finding my arm slot where I throw from now, which is like the three quarters, like you said. It helps with deception and stuff like that, and the hitters usually don't see it too well. So that's the bonus for me there.
Perfect. Now your pitch repertoire, it includes a four-seam and a two-seam and like a slider curve type of pitch, so to speak. Did you ever felt the need to add more pitches to your arsenal, or did you think maybe perfecting those 2 to 3 pitches would be more beneficial to you?
I mean, pitchers, we kind of tinker here and there, trying to look for different things. I've messed around with the changeup here and there, but ultimately decided that the mix of pitches I have now is the most effective.
Gotcha. Now, when you're with Cleveland, most of your time there, you were spent like a setup role over there. Did you ever have a desire to maybe get more closing opportunities? I know you had a few saves over there, but did you ever maybe hope to get that closer's role instead of pitching the eighth one day?
Yeah. I mean, I closed in college. I closed in my early years in the minor leagues when I was coming up and stuff like that. And when you're growing up, you're always, imagining a 3-2 count in the 7th game of the World Series with 2 outs. You're not imagining that. In the 9th inning, you're not imagining that. In a setup role, you always want to be the guy with the ball in his hand last and be able to get that victory home for your team. So there was always a desire there to eventually close one day. But as it kind of turned out, it was setting that setup man role, which I welcomed very much.
Sure. Now, they say the guys in the bullpen, you guys are always the closest knit group. You guys have the best conversations. Would you say maybe the bullpen guys in Cleveland were your closest friends? And who were some of those core guys over there in Cleveland that you say maybe you're still friends with to this day?
Yeah, definitely. The bullpen, we're always – I think we spend the most time together, shoulder to shoulder. position guys spend a lot of time together, but outside of us pitching for 10 or 15 minutes, we're usually around those guys constantly, either stretching or working out, or obviously in the bullpen. So Joe Smith, Tony Sipp, Frank Herman, those guys I became really close with. Chad Durbin I still talk to from 2011. I had close friends on the other side of the ball. Jason Kipnis and Michael Brantley was a good friend. So it's just one of those things. Bullpen guys are always around each other, so you just kind of gravitate towards each other.
Sure. Now, in 2014, you were traded to the Los Angeles Angels. At that time, Cleveland's the only organization you knew, but Anaheim, that's pretty much your home. You went to high school over there in Anaheim. So what was your initial reaction to the trade, and how surreal that idea was for you to be pitching back home?
I was excited. It was a great opportunity. Anytime you get a chance to go pitch for your hometown team, you have to be excited about that. I went to college and high school, like you said, within about 10 miles of Angel Stadium. So it was pretty fun. It was hectic at times, trying to see everybody and make sure I still had enough time to make sure I was taking care of what was going on the field. But it was a great experience.
Awesome. Now, your managers throughout your career, you have pretty much 3 main ones in the major leagues: Manny Acta, Terry Francona, and Mike Scioscia. If you can you speak on maybe differences you saw in their personalities and managerial style, or if there's any similarities you saw from them as well?
Tito is, he's a quintessential player's manager. He's always joking around with the guys, having a good time, cracking jokes, stuff like that. Mike Scioscia's kind of in between there. He's stern but fair kind of guy, but at the same time likes to have fun. When it's allowed. Yeah. And then Manny Acta was a little more of a guy that was in control of a younger team and trying to set an example and being that kind of that one guy up top that everybody can kind of like lean on. And so he was a little more disconnected than the other 2 guys, but still I think he was a great manager.
Gotcha. Now, last year you spent time in the New York Yankees organization, one of the most famous organizations in sports history, really. A player like any player really wants a chance to play in the Yankees organization one day, minors or majors. Was that pretty special for you to be able to say you played for the Yankees? But I know, unfortunately, last year was the first year you didn't appear in the big league. So kind of maybe speak on both sides of it, being able to play for a team like the Yankees, but also why it didn't work out over there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great prospect in the beginning. It was a great time over there. They take care of their players very well. It was fun being in that locker room with so many great players. The Alex Rodriguez's, and then Mark Teixeira's, and the CC Sabathia's, and those guys, obviously. And then they got a lot of young talent over there that's really good. Spent time with Aaron Judge last year in Scranton, and obviously very excited for the career that he's kind of blossomed into right now. And I ended up having a shoulder injury in April that kind of took me out of it, and I ended up getting released a couple months after that, after I got activated. So short but sweet stint with the Yankees, I'd say.
Yeah. Now you're with the Bridgeport Bluefish in the Atlantic League, your first year in indie ball. I know you were with the team at spring training, but for whatever reason you weren't able to play in the first half. Can you speak on why maybe you weren't able to play in the first half, and how excited you to be part of the Bluefish now in the second half to hopefully reach the playoffs?
Yeah, some of the shoulder stuff that was bothering me last year kind of reared its head a little bit. So I wanted to make sure that I went home, took care of it once and for all, and did some physical therapy. And finally, I feel like that's in the rearview mirror. And happy to be here now and hopefully be able to contribute to this second half push.
Awesome. Final questions for you, kind of like rapid type questions, like some fun questions. Do you have any like autograph or memorabilia pieces you received in the major leagues from maybe any players or coaches or whoever?
I've got a autographed jersey from Jim Thome, and that's really the only one I ever really got after. A lot of guys go out there and they send jerseys over to other locker rooms and balls and stuff, but I never really got into that. Probably one of my bigger regrets, just because the guys that you don't have that opportunity to really reach anymore.
Sure. Favorite major league ballparks? Any that stand out?
You know what? I always love pitching in Cleveland. I always love pitching at home. That was a great atmosphere there. Seattle, Minnesota's new park. Those are always great places to visit. Final
question for you, Vinny. Toughest hitters for you throughout your career? Maybe any player that for whatever reason has your number, so to speak.
You know what? The big ratties never scared me. It was always the little lefties, or the switch hitters. Alexi Casilla, who we just faced in York, he's got a pretty good track record against me. Kelly Johnson, I'm not too fond of. It was always the slappy lefties with the quick hands that gave me trouble.
That's awesome. Well, Vinny, thanks so much, and good luck with the Bluefish. All right.